Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dusted on Gaming. Tonight we're going to be playing a friendly league with one of the more up-and-coming decks here in early standard, one of Black Zombies. Obviously it's probably the deck that arguably gained the most from M19, with the reprinting of Diregraph Ghoul and Death Baron, as well as Graveyard Marshal seeing new print. Basically, this is your curve out aggro deck. You have 1-drops in Diregraph Ghoul and Dread Wanderer, Graveyard Marshal, and Scrap Heap Scrounger as your 2-drops, Lord of the Cursed, and Death Baron as your 3-drop lords. Liliana Untouched by Death, very powerful planeswalker, specifically in the zombies list. A couple copies of Vraska's Contempt here to deal with problematic planeswalkers and creatures like Scarab God that can be a problem, and Liliana's Mastery for those of you that played Standard last year before rotation. This was one of the more powerful cards at the top end of the old zombies list from last year. One of the contentious spots so far in the list is the split on Metallic Mimic versus Scrap Heap Scrounger. Metallic Mimic gets you your bigger creatures faster. Scrap Heap Scrounger gives you a little more grind against the control-ish decks. So that's kind of the big debate in the main decks right now. And then obviously the split on removal between Fatal Push, Cast Down, Vraska's Contempt. List I pulled here has the 2-1-2 split. Some of the lists are running 4 Fatal Push, some of the lists are running like 3 Fatal Push, 2 Contempt, no Cast Down. I kind of like the spread of removal. Contempt's obviously very good, but it's very, very mana intensive. And this is, for all intents and purposes, this is an aggro curve out deck, so you want to be as mana efficient as possible. Sideboard's a smattering of cards. You have Duresses for control matchups, Sorcerer Spyglass for problematic activated abilities, usually planeswalkers. Things like Teferi can be problematic. Nicol Bolas on its flip side. A couple cast downs for some more removal. Doomfalls to pair with your Duresses also can come in matchups where there's like singular threats like Scarab God that you need to answer. Rune Raider for grindier matchups, kind of a pseudo Argyl's Bloodfast, kind of fits with your curve. A couple Eldest Reborn for grindy matchups where you're facing a bunch of heavy hitters like Glorybringers, Hazarets, things like the Scarab God, Nicol Bolas, etc. 1 Plague Mare for kind of your own pseudo-ish Goblin Chain Whirler effect. Gonti for grindy matchups, and the 3rd Liliana Untouched by Death for control matchups, pretty much. So, I can tell you firsthand, Liliana Untouched by Death against a deck that can't answer it or doesn't have a board presence, quite effective. Found that out last night with Grixis. So, that being said, let's go ahead and hop into a league. Got a little bit of time tonight, so I'm actually going to try to do a full friendly league tonight. Zombies is not generally a very difficult deck to pilot, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a whirl, even though I don't have a ton of experience in this M19 standard yet. Granted, we're only, 4 or 5 days in since Magic Online released it, so. Beyond that, I mean, the only other real contentious issue is, like, playing things like, Dispossessed for God Pharaoh's Gift, if you're afraid of that matchup. And maybe some type of life gain, like an Ether Sphere Harvester. I saw Seth Manfield was playing in his build. So, a couple different ways you can go, a couple different sideboard cards, but you are mono black, so you are kind of somewhat limited in what your tools are. But good old Magic Online. Guess I'd like to play first. 25 land deck starts with no lands. Gotta love Magic Online. Wow. Sometimes I really think the Magic Online Shuffler needs some work. Sure. It's possible I should have bottomed out looking for a land here. Especially with us being on the play. Looks like we're up against vampires or possibly... Turns out this Liliana is probably not going to be very good in this matchup, especially if there are tokens built with vampires. They might just be mono white monument too. See if they're willing to trade here. It's a trade for the most part I'm pretty good with. Does really suck mulliganing to 5 on 25, basically no landers. Oh, and our opponent missed their land drop. Wow, opponent's got pride mates for days. Get a Diregraph Ghoul, which is nice. Don't think I'm going to attack here. Sacred Cat's annoying. So right now we have Diregraph Ghoul, and Scrap Heap Scrounger. So we've put 1, 2, 3 lands in the bin. It's possible I should have killed Sacred Cat, but they can get it back fairly easily here, so. I felt like a Ketra's Monument deck here. Like to hit a land here. Cast down, huh? See if they try to go for the double block. Dread Wonder requires 3 to bring back. Jonto's Vanguard, sure. Jonto's Vanguard, sure. And that's a lot of Jonto's Vanguards. Instead, we mill 3 swamps. Let's see what our opponent hits here. What's up, Space Marine? Johnny's Pride Mate. Oh, great, they have the mechanic. Cool. Alright, no zombies last couple times. Sounds like a lot of fun. Enter of the Meek. So, 3 Scroungers, a Dread Wanderer. Activate, force you to chump away your board. Goes to 2. Bring back Dread Wanderer, and their board's substantially smaller, and I don't think they can kill us on the crackback right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, opponent finally realized they're dead. Yeah, that sounds pretty brutal. Alright, so definitely want Plague Mare. Kinda wish we had a couple of those. Beyond that, what do we even want? These Vraska's Contempts are kind of... Actually, some builds have... Bring in the cast downs, they're more mana efficient. And then... Could try to bring in a couple Duresses to try to hit their Arketra's Monument, but I think that might be a losing battle. Really wish we had more than one Plague Mare. Of course, that kind of a hindsight in this kind of a matchup. Brutal. Yeah, sounds like it. So, and that the impressive part about that is that was a mulligan of 5 too. So, part of that was Liliana putting them in strike range. Part of that was just this deck seems pretty good. Our opponent probably has Dust to Dawn somewhere in their 75, so that is something we need to be cognizant of, but not something we can really play around, so. This hand's alright, but we do need to draw more lands. Sacred Cat. Okay. Still need to draw more lands. Excuse me. Alright, do a land. Opponent's probably just going to play a Ketra's Monument and then take the turn off. Is that during, is that Innistrad Standard? Alara. Wasn't actually playing during Alara. Came back during RTR and Estrad Standard. Gotcha. They have Angel here? Militia Bugler. Alright. Nope. Definitely not. Hoping they play the Mentor of the Meek here. Yeah, so we're going to get to kill that. Kind of hoping we hit a land here. Dread Wanderer is not a horrible pickup. Attack with Diregraph, see if they chump or something here. Nope, just take the damage. Okay. Can't let this Mentor of the Meek go unchecked. That's just too annoying of a card. Especially when they're hitting land drops, that could have gotten out of control extremely quickly. Alright, Benlish Marshal, that one's certainly annoying too. Pretty sure we're just dead on board. No fear, huh? Block. Block. 2. So can we survive this attack? Block here. It'll push that one. Go to 1. So if we hit exactly, Plague Mare will be in this game. Otherwise, not so much. Dread Wanderer. So am I supposed to bring in some amount of duresses for their stupid Ketra's Monument? Guess the answer is yes. Not too happy about it. Their deck is night and day when they draw Aketra's Monument. If it's anything like the old Aketra Monuments decks. I'd like to play first? Yes. Can I keep this hand? Sacred Cat. Not exactly the card I want to be killing with Fatal Push. Alright, Diagraph Ghoul, not the worst here. Though I do want to draw some lands. Knight of Grace, that one's annoying. Does seem to indicate our opponent might not have an Aketra's Monument or a third land, possibly. Never mind. Alright. Looks like they don't have a monument this game. Much as I would like to duress their hand, I think I just have to kill this stupid Mentor of the Meek. Willing to throw away a Diagraph Ghoul to keep this alive. Those knights are going to be very annoying. See what you got over there. Probably just creatures would be my guess. Bueller and Bueller. Alright, so sure, see what you hit here. Bring back the cat. Another Bugler. Mentor of the Meek. My kingdom for a land. Oh dear. Well, it was a fun game while it lasted. Alright, well, Catcher's Monument deck on display there. Able to go wide, wider than us, especially when we're not drawing lands. So how's everyone doing this evening? Hope you're enjoying the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Playing some zombies here. Let's see, we're on the draw. Yeah, I'm inclined to keep this one. Good old mono red wizards. Okay. So off chance you're sitting on a chain whirler over there, probably want to attack. Of course you're on Goblin Chain Whirler, why wouldn't you be? Matt Courier. Soul Scar Mage. So, doesn't seem like the highest value play, but I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to contempt that there. Doing this mainly to get one card down to one card in hand. force you into using burn spells here if you're going to... Alright. Just go ahead and get in with Scrounger here. So we're not doing anything else with it. Okay. Okay, puts me to 1. Sure. So each have 1 damage on it. You're supposed to double block and kill it now. And if they draw a shock or anything at any point, we're just dead, so... Earthshaker Kenra, that might also do it. Actually, Kenra's ability is kind of useless here. Another if near Deadlands. What does this let us do? Wow, thanks Magic Online. Alright, so... Gotta love Magic Online sometimes. One misclick and you die. Alright, so Mono Red Wizards. Probably want these cast downs. Scroungers aren't the best. Have some amount of X1, so Plague Mare's alright. Spyglass, no. Rune Raider, no. This hand's alright, but it's a little tilting to be dealing with if near Deadlands as your second black source, especially against the mono red deck. Sure. Ether Sphere Harvester, huh? Sure. Another Harvester, sure. But now got to decide if they want to attack for 3 here. With 1 card in hand. Chandra. Mm-hmm. Me losing to mistapping in game 1 because I had If Your Deadly Hands, went to activate it, and tapped it for mana when I was at 1 life. And a very awkward board stall that we've kind of ground into right now. I think I just pass here. If they don't find an answer to this Lord of the Accursed, they're dead next turn. Which, their hand's probably chock full of it, but... Oh, a land? Okay, so you're dead? Cool. Guess not quite dead. So many burn spells blow this up over the next turn. They have 2 looks at it next turn. I think I'm just supposed to kill this Soul Scar Mage now. I think I'm just supposed to kill Soul Scar Mage now and hope they brick on a removal spell. Not attacking this turn, so That's fine. Yep, no reason to attack this turn. They have to hit like a braid or something here to blow this up. Guess technically this is another blocker, so this would allow them to block next turn. Chain Whirler, yeah, that's kind of whatever here. Glad we got rid of that stupid thing, though. Wow. Still don't have any good attacks right now. Alright, well, Sorcerer's Spyglass is coming in for game 3 if we make it to game 3. Yep. Why wouldn't you lifelink there? That's kind of interesting. It can, but red's one of its weaker matchups. Because they have the efficient removal. The fact that they were able to answer our first 2 or 3 lords and they had multiple Ether Sphere Harvesters in this game kind of doomed us a little bit. Now they're lifelinking this turn. Are we dead? Bane Fire. Alright. Alright, none off to the best start with zombies. Kind of having high hopes for this deck, but maybe, I don't know. Ugh. 0-2. Lost to Mono White, a Catcher's Monument, and lost to Mono Red Wizards. So. Just like to play first. I won game 1 of the first match. I didn't win the match itself. A Catcher's Monument's just capable of going much wider than we are. Alright, well, not sure. Looks like we're up against Teamer Control. Oh, gotta love it when the dog's gotta bark at everything. Yep. And it's just gonna kill everything if they can. I think I'm just gonna hold Death Baron in my hand for right now. Yep, looks like Teamer Control. Two Collies, a Shetland, and a Labrador. See what kind of nonsense this deck is playing. Yep, confirmed. Teamer Control.
If you write anything on your computer, you...
Sorry about that. Forgot to mute. Teamer Control. Spring to Mind. Thematic Compass. Abrade. Grow from the Ashes. Harari Conjecture. They run 4 Hour of Devastation. How the bleep does this deck win? Sifter Worm? Alright. Shepherd Coyote mix. That has to be a interesting mix. So we're walking right into an Hour of Devastation, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to win by just sitting here, so. Sure. Do you have an Hour of Devastation? Looks like we are getting Hour of Devastated. Yep. This looks like a deck that would be semi up your alley. Space Marine. Grow from the Ashes. This looks like it's the semi-ancestor of the Jiminy Buffets. Well... On that note, we're going to go to the post-board games. That's what we're playing against. Let's get these Duresses in here. Let's get these Doomfalls in here. Opponent could potentially bring in stuff like Glorybringer and Carnage Tyrant. So I'm going to leave some amount of the cast downs in for Glorybringer. Probably leave like 2 cast downs in, get these Vraska's Contempts out. Liliana in. So Lords are relevant, but only to a certain degree because our opponent is capable of sweeping the board. So I think we're going to go like this. So that seems fine. Not the most aggressive start we could have. Keeps their 6-card hand. Alright, leads on Mountain Go. And this is probably just going to die. I was about to say, we would love to draw a 3-drop here, but like to really draw a... Alright, well, I mean, I kind of have to play our Liliana into the face of a potential Hour of Devastation. Did hit a Scrap Heap Scrounger and a Death Baron here. So if our opponent does not have Hour of Devastation here, they're just dead, but they probably do. Not surprised at all. Make them have it again. Alright, well you have 2 deserts, so they're going to get a couple deserts to block here, which is annoying. Not a couple deserts, a couple zombies to block. Actually, gonna go with Death Baron here, where they're gonna have to trade away 2 zombies to kill one of mine. Then I can get back Scrounger at end of turn. Alright, Space Marine, have fun. What you gonna cook for dinner? Yeah, Rocker, Sifter Worm was their main kill con. Sorry, I just saw that comment. Okay. Wasn't sure if that means you had to go or not. Plus to being whether they want to chump or whether they want to trade. Want to trade 2 for 1 here. Yeah, looks like they're going to trade 2 for 1. So we put them to 5 here. Even if they have another sweeper, we're able to Scrounger. They play well. Sifter Worm could gain them quite a bit of life here, so I don't know that we'd necessarily kill them through a Sifter Worm. Does make me wonder though if this kind of shell, if green-black acquisition doesn't still have a place in the meta, if this deck's kind of popping up a little bit here and there. It's a deck which I haven't played yet, but it's definitely a deck I want to play a little bit of before rotation. So, see what our opponent does here. Sifter Worm, as predicted. Converted mana cost. Alright, let's see what you find here. It's also still quite early in the standard season, so people are still oh, Jiminy Christmas. Wow. Commit to Memory's a card. Graveyard Marshal. So we know they're drawing commit. Grow from the ashes. Alright. Do you have another? Wow. Nope, just slow rolling an hour of devastation. Seriously? Oh, I'm not holding it against zombies. I'm just like... three sweepers in the top 8 cards is a little... or top 20-some cards is a little much. And we know they have the commit, so this Liliana's Mastery isn't resolving. Can still draw like a cast down or something to survive for a turn. Or they just have Glory Bringer and we're dead? No, we're just dead to onboard Hashap Oasis. Alright. So I'll go ahead and play the league out. I mean, I'm not mad at the deck. This has been a very Magic Online kind of night. Like, sometimes you can play a perfectly reasonable deck and then you get, like, either bad pairings or people draw the right things. Like, I lost one, like, to be fair, I lost one game due to mistapping on my own part. That's my own decision, own choice, own whatever. I should have been more careful in tapping with an if near dead lands. But some of this other stuff's just been, like, out of my control. I'm trying to think if there's any... Like, if there's any different play lines I could take. It's one thing I always try to look for, even when I'm losing, is to try to maintain, like, some type of focus as of, like... Did I miss sideboard? Is the deck not built? I mean, granted, this isn't my list, but is the deck need some changes done to it? But kind of hard to beat 3 hour of devastations. Doesn't have a 1-drop, but other than that, this hand seems alright. Never mind, paired against another red deck. There, if you want to kill something, kill a Scrap Heap Scrounger. You have Magma Spray, you have Magma Spray. Nope, Lightning Strike on a Scrap Heap Scrounger. Sure. What kind of hand did they keep? Must be the all burn spell hand. It's either the all burn spell hand or the all mono 4-drop dot hand. Dafook. Alright, so I'm losing a Dread Wanderer. Sure. Uh... Looks like we're up against goblins? Question mark. Alright, you want to trade resources with a zombies deck. Alright. Guess they could have Siege Gang Commander here. Opponent is floating out something fierce. Alright. At least we know what we're fatal pushing. Conceivably, anyway. Alright, looks like our opponent is getting out Magic Online. Siege Gang? Sure. Goblin. Let's see what our opponent might have here. No results for goblins quite yet. Probably interested in Plague Mare. Interested probably in these cast downs. Some of these scrappy teas out of here. Liliana maybe? Just as double removal spell. You know, with as many Chain Whirlers running around, there is an awful lot of X1 decks. Makes me wonder if we don't want another Plague Mare on the sideboard. It's going alright, Foz. Well, actually the league's going terribly, but things are going alright. How are you doing? That's one way to put it. Glad BioBlight's not legal in this format with this draw. Alright, so good thing we didn't play out the Dread Wanderer or the Graveyard Marshal yet. Uh, just poor draws. Had a couple situations where just random things come up. Like my ramp control opponent having 3 copies of Hour of Devastation in his top 15 cards, basically, against a tribal deck. Pretty brutal. Sure. Opponents trying to 1-for-1 are 1-drop draw. Does seem like we're gonna get on the board this match though. Thanks, Foz. Thanks. Zombies is a good deck. It's just a matter of some of the draws and matchups haven't been spectacular, that's all. Liliana seemed fine so far. To be fair, I don't think Aketra's Monument's a great matchup for zombies, though we did win game 1 on the mulligan to 5. And then I think Plague Mare would go a long way towards fixing that particular matchup, so we'd probably want a second Plague Mare if that deck becomes a bigger thing. Although with all the Goblin Chain Whirlers running around, I'm not sure a deck based around Aketra's Monument is gonna be a huge boon in the format. The Teamer ramp control deck, you just can't beat 3 Hour of Devastations each game into your opponent gaining 10 life off of a Sifter Worm and a Commit to Memory. So, some things you can beat, some things you can't. The Teamer ramp control deck did look interesting though. I think I've only seen one Chain Whirler out of our Mono Red Wizards opponent in round 2. Though I would suspect our Goblins opponent had him. But to be fair, Zombies, other than Dread Wanderer, doesn't really care about Chain Whirler. Unless it's paired with Soulscar Mage. So, Zombies is one of the tribal decks that just doesn't, in general, care about Chain Whirlers, unless they're specifically paired with Soulscar. So, I think people are kind of bored of red black and stuff right now, and they're trying the other stuff. But I still suspect. No, I wasn't playing around Chain Whirler. I was talking about one of my opponent in round 1 was playing an Aketra's Monument token. Well, Aketra's Monument go wide mono white token strategy. And I was commenting how in a format full of Chain Whirlers, I don't see that deck being a driving force. Wasn't commenting about our deck at all. Like, our deck can generally outgrow Chain Whirlers if our opponent's not able to back it up with other stuff. Because we've got, even in this build without the Metallic Mimic, there's 12 Lord effects in this deck, so it's kind of easy for us to ignore the deals 1 damage to each creature thing. I have no idea. This hand seems pretty decent. I'd figure in a 5-round league you'd see red at least once. So format seems reasonably healthy so far. Up against Merfolk. Or is this another one of the ramp strategies? This is Merfolk. They're having a very bad draw. Looks like ramp though. Nope, Steelers champion. Alright. The Benelish Marshal? Yeah, Benelish Marshal's fine, but it's still only a 4 of in their deck. It's possible I should just be getting my lords on the battlefield this game. But killing your dude getting in for 5 seems pretty good. Seems like an abysmal matchup for Steel Leaf Stompy. Why would you leave Heart of Kiran on top of your deck? Playing Death Baron, or am I playing Lord of the Accursed here? Yeah, it's called Benelish Marshal. I don't know if I like my opponent's particular game plan right now. Yep. Opponent has 1 card in hand. They're attacking with Ronus. No blocks. Unless you have a combat trick in hand, you're just dead. Alright, guess you're gonna concede. Alright, Steel Leaf Stompy, huh? So... Scrappy teas aren't the best here. Probably interested in those. Yeah, Giving Menace would have been... Was Giving Menace lethal there? No, Menace wasn't lethal because, we'd only have 3 attackers, 2 of which would be the zombies. Would that be lethal? No, because they were a 3 and 3. That would have dropped them to 1, and they could have just blocked Scrap Heap Scrounger and lived for that turn, and then killed us on the crackback. Because then we only had 3 attackers. They can't block the 2 zombies, but the 2 zombies are... Wait, 4 power and 3 power? I guess either way was lethal. Alright, so... It's possible I want Liliana here. Is this an Eldest Reborn matchup? The Death Baron gave him Death Touch. Am I supposed to bring in any of these other cards? Spyglass, maybe? Doomfall, maybe? Gonti, maybe? Eldest Reborn, maybe? Too early to tell. Space Marine, it could be reasonable. I use mana traders to borrow the cards. I currently pay $60 a month. Well, it's like 54 now to be able to play pretty much any standard or modern deck I want. So Space Marine, you're saying, or Foz, you're gonna say that blue's the best color in chat with Space Marine around. You know he's never gonna let you live that down, right? So what are the odds my opponent has a Blossoming Defense here? Apparently they don't. Alright, I was just warning you, you know Space Marines in chat here. Bob the Builder, are you actually the Bob the Builder that actually plays Magic Online? I know there is a person that plays Magic Online with the screen name Bob the Builder. You two agreeing is almost scary. I believe I've played against you a couple of times throughout history. So if I minus, get back Death Baron. Minus, get back Death Baron, kill... Oh, that's legendary. Delightful. Looks like I got a little too cute with my play here. I can stream for a little bit longer. This is probably going to be my final, like, league match with zombies. Alright, so 2 and 3. I mean, we closed out not too terribly bad after the 0 and 3 start. So just general thoughts. I think the deck's fine. Got a little bit unlucky. That one game I punted by tapping if near deadlands when I was trying to activate it. So that punt might have cost us that match, although we were already down a game. And we were at 1 life against a burn deck. Not saying we were winning that one, but sideboard, we didn't bring in the Oldest Reborn, so I don't know. Like Rune Raider, we didn't. I don't know. A lot of these cards we didn't bring in. It's just kind of like, what are we trying to beat? I guess a couple copies of Argrill's Bloodfast might not be bad. Probably one in the second Plague Mirror against at least the mono white deck. And there's a few other spots where Plague Mirror would have been good. Duresses were fine. Doomfalls were fine. Cast Downs kind of worked overtime. Gaunty was another card we're just sitting there going, eh. I think the deck's fine. I mean, seems like the Oketra's Monument deck, when they draw the Oketra's Monuments, favored against us. The red decks feel a little hit or miss. Ramp decks with Hour of Promise and Hour of Devastation are miserable, but that's to be expected for a tribal deck. And then seems like Steel Leaf Stompy is going to have a rough time in a zombie kind of meta. And Goblins just felt like garbage. So it's pretty much what I got on this deck so far. Anybody else have any comments besides blue is the best color? Black is a close second. Foz, are you just trying to be difficult today, or did you and Space Marine switch bodies? God. You guys are terrible today. You guys are terrible. Excuse me. Sorry, still dealing with a bit of phlegm from my wonderful head cold that I've been dealing with. So, I think that's going to be about wrap for zombies. As far as Mr. Bob the Builder, are you still in chat? Not really sure what's going on with him. But, too many 1-1s. Black has 2-2s. It's twice the size. Oh, sometimes I think you guys are trolling me. Space Marine, I expect that from you. I'm just not used to Foz joining in the fun. if we're talking in Eternal formats, white is probably generally better than black as far as sideboard options, but I don't know. Like, what would the best white deck be in Modern? Would it be Humans? Or is it Death and Taxes? Because if that's so, black has far better decks in Modern. So, yeah, it's probably the best true white deck in Modern, and that's not the best deck in the world. So, but up. Oh, I knew you two couldn't get along for much longer there, but up. Tomorrow night we'll probably play. Depends on how much of it is base white. Most 4-color decks end up being base green, so I don't know. Well, yeah, Humans, but most of the good Humans are white. That's the only reason I brought that up. Cause Champion of Parish, Thalia's Lieutenant, Mantis Rider. I just said it was probably the best white base deck in Modern. But if you want to go by true white deck, then I suppose Death and Taxes would have to be it. Humans is basically a white weenie deck with some disruption, so I would say it qualifies as a white deck. But fair enough. Humans feels like a white weenie base deck. Anywho, so while we're sitting here, sometimes has planes in it. That reminds me. So this is the early standard meta that's shown up so far. Teamer Sifter Worm is the deck that we played against Space Marine that you were probably interested in. There's been quite a few decks that have popped up. There's been a mono white mono white Ketra's Monument deck we played against. We'll probably get to here. There's a blue-black Gifts deck floating around. Esper Control. See if he was running Chromium in his list. Nope. Running Approach of the Second Sun in the sideboard. That's interesting. Duress, Bloodghast, Negate, Forsake the Worldly, Sell the Wreckage, Fumigate, Approach. Why would you run Approach in the sideboard? That just feels bizarre. Teamer Sifter Worm. Wasn't your Space Marine, let me get this straight. A card that you played in both your first several weeks of Standard and your version of Blue-White Control in Modern You're gonna now say is a cheap win con. Is this opposite day and you guys are just screwing with me? uh. Alright, Teamer Sifter Worm looks like an interesting deck to cover at some points. What else has popped up? Look at this untitled list. This is blue-white. It's an interesting thing. I've never seen that before. Mono black zombies, mono red, mono green stumpy. Let's see what this one is. Whoa, somebody busted out an old school Teamer Energy list. That's pretty ballsy. Alright, I'll take your word for it, Space Marine. But, yeah, a lot of interesting lists floating around. This dude's actually gone 5-0 with Teamer Energy twice? That's kind of impressive. But, yeah, Esper mid-range, kind of stuff's going on with that deck. Oh, no. But Teamer Energy has not, like, put up results in months since the banning. That's why I was kind of, like, in shock that it's, like, someone suddenly, like, placing with it again. But, yeah, I mean, Zombies was pretty solid. Kind of hard to argue with. 2-3 happens. Not really worried about that. Beyond that, just not broken anymore. Yeah, that's probably fair. That is probably fair. Maybe you still don't. The problem with Teamer Energy wasn't the Teamer part. The problem with Teamer Energy is a Tune with Ether allowed you to play any 4 or 5 color combination you want. So would you really want Teamer Energy being able to just like slam Bolus into the deck and not care? That's what made the energy mechanics so broken, was the fact that and Rogue Refiner. So, Foz, what were you playing to beat it then? Bolus blows, so sure? I don't know if I agree with that statement, Space Marine. Did you watch our matches last night? Bolus was pretty decent in most of them. Are you talking in modern or standard, Foz? I was talking about modern Teamer or standard Teamer Energy before the old Bolus. Yeah, maybe. The new Bolus is pretty decent. I wasn't talking about the Bolus God Pharaoh Nicol Bolus. Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh, however you want to pronounce it. But, alright. I'm going to go ahead and take about... Standard, I'm older than 12. Shots fired. Shots fired. Alright, I'm going to go take about a half-hour break, go for a run, come back, take a shower, get back on, play another couple of, another match or two with the Legacy Burn deck. Wrapping it up for Standard for the night. Zombies went 2-3. Could have gone different if our draws had lined up a little bit better. So, we'll definitely revisit Zombies sometime in the next couple weeks, but wanted to get some Standard action in tonight. Don't know where Bob the Builder went. Foz, Space Marine. Hope you guys come back later for Legacy Burn, especially you, Foz, since we're pretty much doing it for you. Beyond that, I'm going to sign off here for a few minutes. If you're new to the channel when you see this later, please consider subscribing. And if you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. So, I will catch everybody later. Probably at about 9-10 Eastern Standard Time. So, be back then.